They control every aspect of the game. I mean, one of the best starters in the league in all of college baseball. Excuse me. Tons of power, tons of left-handed power. They capitalized on some mistakes. We didn't control any counts. They control all the counts on both sides, and that's basically the outcome of the game.
Coach, the walks were a real issue for everybody today. They all had at least 3 in the game. What were you seeing from your guys that led to the walks, led to the free bases that you had?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything. When you have that many, some of it was just scattered. Some of it was, credit to them and their offense, and some of it was pitching around some guys. And I think we maybe even had a half an intentional walk in there. So it's a collection of everything. I tip my cap to their offense, their approach, they're adjustable. Anytime you have that kind of power too, I think guys tend to maybe nibble a little bit. I saw some of that, and of course, when they had our back against the wall, they got the big hit there with the grand slam, which kind of crippled us. So, there's a little bit of everything.
Coach, along those lines too, in middle innings, the bullpen got you a hold, but offensively you just couldn't kind of climb back into it. I know some of that's got to do with how well they pitched it, but what maybe did you see from your offense that maybe were some missed opportunities?
Well, I think a lot of it is, just you got Jamie Arnold. He was commanding the slider for strikes, throwing the slider for chase, and just pretty much throwing any pitch in any count. And it's one of those things where I think everyone probably is thinking like, well, why don't you just sit on it? It's still a tough pitch to hit. It's a pitch that is it's going to have him going in the first round for a reason. So. I thought we did some decent things in some spurts. I would have liked to elevate the pitch count a little bit more. Hopefully, trying to get him out a little bit earlier. The kid's a warrior, pitched better late in the games, and he just had our number tonight.
Hunter, Jamie's especially tough against lefties, and you had some success against him today, especially with the home run. What were you seeing that you felt like was good for you, allowed you to have the success?
Yeah, I don't know. He just gave me a couple good pitches to hit, and with a guy like that, he didn't do that very often. So I was just pouring that line up to where he did mess up for me. And luckily, I did have success against him.
Justin, what do you think just went wrong for Pico in the start?
Well, command mostly. I think command. Didn't have feel for a change, so kind of boxed him into being a 2-pitch guy. Didn't control enough counts. The 3 bases. I thought he made some big pitches to get himself close to getting out of that jam there. I think it was in the 4th. Just didn't do enough. Came up a little short, and then of course the home run was the big crippler. So, but he's a warrior. He's been our guy all year. He took the ball today probably a little bit less than at his best, and he's our heartbeat as a staff anyway. So I thought he battled.
Hunter, also too, you have been a Michigan State Bulldog baseball player now for 4 years, and you got to win 2 games tomorrow to kind of extend your college career. What's your mindset right now, and how are you feeling knowing you're going to bed tonight, knowing that tomorrow could be the end?
It doesn't change anything. We still have to go out there and play good baseball and win. We got our backs against the wall right now. It's been like that the whole year. So, we just got to simplify, go out there, play as good as we can.
Justin, do you have any update on Sawyer, if he could possibly be available at all tomorrow?
No update, just day to day. We're dealing with some muscular stuff, so it just kind of depends on how he feels when he wakes up.
Hart, we talked a lot about Pico and dealing with fatigue. He's throwing a lot more innings than he ever has, and there was a lot of speculation about whether or not he was going to be available and when he would be available. What have you seen from him the last week or so, kind of preparing for this and kind of battling through that fatigue and maybe being banged up a little bit too?
Yeah, the main emphasis the last 10 days or so has been more rest than anything. So I haven't seen much of the work. I actually thought, looking at his delivery tonight and some of the high-end stuff, I thought he was probably even a little bit better than he's been recently. Just the command fell apart on him. He didn't make enough pitches through the middle of their order, and they made him pay.
Justin, you talked so much about playing complementary baseball this last month or so. How do you think you can hone that together to do that tomorrow and next game and too?
Well, it's got to start on the mound. We got to throw more strikes, and in the flow of the game, I felt like Arnold. I tipped my cap to him. I felt like he was pitching a fast forward. It just had such a great rhythm and such a great tempo. It felt like our halves were almost on slow motion. So it starts on the mound. We got to be better. We got to make more pitches. We got to command the ball at a lot higher level, and hopefully the complementary aspects kind of pick up from there.
Coach, along those lines too, I mean, what are your pitching plans for tomorrow?
Don't quote me on this, but I'm planning on starting Sierra, and then we'll kind of have all hands on deck from there.
You've talked about a little the lineup as a whole. I mean, obviously that Alex Lodi's in the top of the lineup, but some of the deeper guys got you. Like, can you speak about the depth of that Florida State lineup, how tough it is battling that?
Yeah, and super aggressive, dangerous, and they're really well protected. There's not a whole lot of guys that struggle left on left or struggle right on right. It's a lineup that's really well coached, very physical, and dynamic there in some ways too, where gave us a little bit of an issue on the bases. That kind of added another aspect to the game, and it's just the length of it, the depth, the physicality, the danger. It's a really good lineup.
After a couple of games, where do you feel like your bullpen sits heading into tomorrow?
Well, I got to do inventory tomorrow. I mean, I think there'll be some guys that are able to bounce back. I was trying to get 3 more outs out of Dane and felt like he would be in a position to come back tomorrow. I got to do some inventory on McPherson. I think there's a chance for him to throw 3 outs tomorrow, and we haven't used several others. And we have Sierra and Ligon. So, we're just trying to win the first inning tomorrow, and there isn't a game 2 unless we win the first one. So that'll be the focus.
Any more questions, guys?